A tour through some of Bloomington's more thoughtful and not so thoughtful buildings. What this is not. It is not a criticism of older buildings. We love older buildings. It's not a criticism of newer buildings. Some of the newest buildings are the best. So what it is, it's an examination of effort, an examination of thoughtfulness, an examination of purpose. Why was the building built? And an examination of aspiration. Are you even reaching for the stars? Let's start with some new and nice structures. This building along South Rogers shows that the architects made some effort to build something thoughtful. Several businesses rest inside its walls. Along South Morton and the Beeline, we see new buildings that express effort, thoughtfulness, and a purpose. These structures have aspirations to become part of the community. They aspire to be looked at and admired. I'd say they've succeeded. This tribute to carriage houses of yesteryear has modern touches and character. The effort to make something memorable is clear. Blooming Food's new building in Elm Heights pays tribute to the community it is being built within. The structure emulates the early 1900s style business buildings, which is also the same era that the homes in the community were built in. While not complex, the building is thoughtful and is obvious that all efforts have been made to fit this structure into the current community. I know these are new apartments, but these buildings along South Dunn aren't offensive at all. In fact, the old school city-style facings show that these architects wanted to try and build something that would respect the architectural period of the community around them. Even I have to admit, they actually work well with the Victorians and older homes around them. On the other hand, then there are these rather spine-tingling blocks of unsightliness. The fake mansard roof looks like a hat, or maybe a head of hair on someone's head. The 1960s and 1970s gave us a lot of things we do remember fondly, but we should also remember it gave us these blocks of repugnance. Effort? Well, I'd say zero. Thoughtfulness? Not even. Purpose? Build a square for housing young humans. Aspirations? What aspirations? Just build it and build it fast. And if I wanted to impress prospective new customers, I wouldn't put my offices in this bowl of mediocrity soup. But these poor chaps aren't alone. Piles of mediocrity, laziness, and simple utility and boorishness are evident all over South Dunn Street. The 1960s and 70s were hard on this neighborhood, and our eyes still suffer the results today. Now here we see poolside apartments. These were built in the 1960s as well. I'd swear these are the same guys who built the Poplars Hotel on East 7th Street. The big problem with poolside apartments is there isn't any longer an actual pool, but with the chairs, umbrellas, someone still intends you to sit there. But then again, little to no thought was put into the backside of this building. It might make one feel that he or she is sunbathing in the back of a low-security prison. Here is more of those mansard-topped apartments. Not sure that this setting is for anyone who might be claustrophobic, but you do get a mirror image of your own back window when looking out your own. I guess that's kind of cool. Do you suppose anyone ever uses that walkway? Maybe perverts or peeping toms. Again, we can't really blame the current owners of these complexes for these low aspiration structures. They were built 50 years ago, in a time when effort and thoughtfulness for living space took a low priority. The students needed a place to live. There was no point in building something appealing. This was about utility and dollar efficiency, not artistry. So, That's how it was in the 1960s and 1970s. These red shacks facing one another stand out like a sore thumb. A quieter color might make them more appealing. I often wonder who thought building claustrophobic apartments that face one another was an appealing thing. Was this meant to build community by forcing neighbors to always be looking across at one another? And if you like garbage, this apartment features a stinky garbage container right outside apartments 5 and 15. What can one say about this lovely structure along East Atwater and Woodlawn? The designers forgot to build an internal staircase for upper floors, so a metal staircase was constructed on the external face of the building. The mansardic roof is all that is keeping this building from being a red box with windows. If you like inoperable wood shutters, this one has plenty. The shutters were glued here to provide the residents the impression that they were living in a cottage, despite the evidence to the contrary. This is the Boorish Center for Research, or the Optometry Building. I'm not trying to offend the building by calling it boorish. It really is named boorish. The definition of boorish, with the extra O, is ill-mannered or insensitive in appearance or manner. The fact that the Boorish building is cold, lifeless-looking, frigid, and has the look of a giant above-ground bunker might have been the architects of the structure's way of kidding around. Built in the 1960s, the Boorish building features almost no windows, and in another dimension, it could serve as an anti-alien air defense building with the proper laser gun additions. The few windows in the front can actually be closed shut in case of attack. Even the surrounding street sides look as if they have already been attacked, leaving only desolate space and concrete parking lots. This once vibrant neighborhood has been erased all along East Atwater. In case you were wondering, there are no favorites in this building. Whether you work near the front or your office is in the back, there is very little chance your office has a window view. No, everyone that works at the Boorish Center must suffer the same circumstances. 4 cold walls, and no views of the outdoors. It is said one employee once worked 3 days in a row because his clock stopped working and he never noticed it getting dark outside. What a travesty! That's all for now, and part 1 of this series.